Okay. And apparently I've ad now. That's cool. I don't get why I have an ad for any reason. Yeah, so at least I might as well keep that. So, if anybody's listening so far, it's cool that I was able to somewhat have an ad, but this is like during Twitch, but for some strange reason, everything shut itself down by accident. Not like the stream itself. It's actually the concerns about, oh, you know, like what happened to like the chat thing. Which reminds me I have to fix that now. But at least so far, like, I haven't really actually switched yet. So yeah, I have to see if it's working. Thank you. At least it says streaming still. But I still have to fix the arrangement for the actual chat room. At least the chat box area. It's taking its sweet time. Well, hopefully nothing went wrong on this, the recording part. As I was suspected, it did something wrong with the format. So I have to reboot that. So I gotta, so like we'll cut this to a short part where everything is set up properly. Yeah, just close that and do a pop out. Well, at least I know it says it's streaming technically. But just in case, I have to fix the chat thing. Yeah, so if you're wondering, like, this may be a little bit longer than you would anticipate. Okay. Let's go ahead and just close the thing so it doesn't crash. Alright, so making sure that there's no cuts. Alright. So, good afternoon, everybody. This is Art Messenger. I'm sorry for this current technical difficulties of, sort of a delay, but I have to make sure I double check everything. The reason why I state this is because as I left a message previously, I accidentally, well, not accidentally, it's more of, for some reason the computer only has partial amounts of footage for me to work with. So if you didn't just see the segue of, or I guess you can obviously see it, but just basically you would be able to see like, you know, of what I have to work with for the editing. So this would actually be uploaded since after the 2 weeks of things. So when I said like it's somewhat extra, is not really a 2 episode thing. It's more of an actual edited footage that I did practice on. At least that's what I'm officially claiming it to be. So, if you don't know, it was the Ske-Doodles part. That since originally it's like working in progress should be this segment, but I decided just for this, occasion, this is going to be a part 2 of Ske-Doodles. Yes, because I want this to be something that, since I already got the finished part of the doodle part, now I actually have to do the sketching part. Because, kind of experiment more on the actual kind of look. Because as far as I know, it's just a generic look of these characters. So let's go ahead and start showing it. So this is what I've made previously. So if you don't know, like, this is just something that I have to end up doing. So as I said from these two, like, I kind of explained some parts previously about, both these characters have a distinct way of why they look like. They're supposed to look like that. But after looking back, I decided, well, maybe I'll just alter it in some way of what I've tried to mean. Like what my intentions were of what to explain. Basically, these are the only 2 soul characters that are meant to be formed with limbs. For the other soul will never be able to experience that, because his intention was like because since the grass is always greener, he'll never look at the the things that are meant to be relevant rather than just something that it's just a fad. So like something that's like exciting, but like you're trying to look at the things that matter basically, and that's what they find in the letter, and that's what's something that meant something for them, of the journey. So as I said, this is just a rough concept, and I'm trying to make sure that after, as I said, I explained before, after recording, I checked at the footage, and I was shocked of how many separate cuts there are. And I was unaware because, like, I guess, like, the running process of the computer always does that. Hopefully when I do get a desktop, it won't have these problems. But I'm not going to make as much further excuses, but to only now actually focus on the overall presentation of things. So, as I said, here's this part of things. Okay, at least I know it's working. Alright, at least the chat room. So let's actually look at, to make sure it's not doing that. Okay. 4. Okay. Nothing's wrong. Alright, so I think this way I actually would work better. So I have the mouse now. Or not the mouse, I have the stylus. Now, as I said, this is a part 2, except technically it's a part 2 of the stream, but when you see this episode, this is actually going to be a standalone video of Ske-Doodles that's actually going to have a finished product. The reason why I say that is because I want this to be presented right before I enter my next class tomorrow. So I'll be able to, I was able to kind of present something that is worth talking about. So like this one, it only needs small changes. But this one, after realizing, looking at this again, there's nothing that seems like a fire type of characteristics physically that's been reflected. So I'll probably have to edit this somewhat again, but not too much, just enough so I could work with something. So, of how I'm going to end up doing, and this is why I'm making more than one layer, is because there might be something that I might have to do an overlay. So I have to make this, somewhat half visible. It's because now I'm going to do a version where I'm actually going to be sketching now. And it's not just played on. So it's going to be like this. Oops. Oops. I forgot that I'm supposed to, no, it didn't work. Sorry. I wish I was able to. No, that's not it. Because you know what I'm doing, right? Like I'm trying to do what is somewhat like, oh, it looks like the sun or something like that. It's somewhat like that, but I'll explain as I go. Oops. 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 No. Sorry. Oops. Oops. Yeah, it's not arching enough, so. As I said, I don't know why I'm making this same mistake. Oops. Yeah, so you get what this is where it's supposed to be going. Alright. You get what I mean. Like, this is just sort of something that I'm trying to sort of redesign. At least it's more kind of something that I was trying to aim for. But to be honest, like, there's some that seem sort of awkward looking. Sometimes. Like, some of these are like, okay, that made sense, but there's some, stroke points that's like, okay, well, that didn't work as I hoped. Um, I guess what I'm inspired of doing for most of these drawings I always hoped that I was able to find somebody that I know of and this is not meant to be a beard. Sorry to inform you, but this is sort of kind of an idea that of a girl's hair, as long as that, could also embrace sort of part of the thing that's like, okay, here's what sort of my body would look. It's somewhat different. It's because how I thought in reference, like, okay, there's only going to be a short sequence I'm going to do with hair and then have them walk away. If I just do a standard, maybe I might do that instead. So I probably have two different versions of these concepts. I mean, it's important because, you get what I mean. It's just, you just have to figure something out from that. And just in case, because I know that from when I was last drawing this, oops, just cut. What, they don't have that option? Okay, maybe it's right here, layer via copy. See, I could just use this as a separate. So, like this separate part, as I said, could be considered oops. Oops. I always make some awkward drawings when it comes to these. There. Oops. I have to make it draw like this. Yeah, so from the previous one, just erase this part. No, not that way. Sorry. I actually... Now, look comparison of the hair now. This is sort of ambitious of trying to like, okay, let's go with the flow sometimes. Because it's like, what are you doing? I don't know, it's just my way of how I'm supposed to be drawing it. Like the right way. So, I'm not sure if this is going to be a shorter movie or a shorter stream or a longer one. But what I would like to make sure I could at least improve from the last one is as a standalone drawing. So, like not just, oh, drawing circles. So like this one, for instance, just... And this is why I don't like to make such a big deal about these, is if I find a direction, not a perfect circle, but what are you gonna do? Oops. I accidentally made a conspicuous thing. Yeah, so this one I might as well erase to make it as fluent. Yeah, so at least this one's somewhat shorter, at least this part. Because I'm not going to be like actually coloring things. Maybe I might. But it's just because like I already got the, the planned strategy for that sort of thing. But there might be a simpler process of, oh, here's this concept. So, yeah, let's make another one. But instead, let's go ahead and now put the limbs on. And trust me, this one's actually probably the easiest part-ish. Because what I'm going to end up doing is it's actually cheap. So here's what I'm going to end up doing. So we're going to make a copy of this. I do not want to screw this part up. And this is just like somewhat an alternative option if I needed it. But that's like a backup thing. It's not what I'm actually going to be doing next. So oh, if anybody hasn't wondered, on my I guess Instagram or even on Facebook, like it varies of where I pressed upon. Well, like, you probably won't see it, but definitely on my Instagram, you'll probably see it. But I've recently posted what I've just received by the mail, and it was a Kingdom Hearts 3, like 6-inch, I think it's 6-inch, like Sora figure. You know, it's not the guard. Well, I'm not sure if it's called Guardian, but it's definitely something that's, you know, it's sort of like now his standard form. Like his standard form of, you know, like the official Kingdom Hearts 3 like production. Like it's his own thing. So yeah. So yeah, it's more of obtuse. Yeah, so if you're wondering, yes, this is going to be one of those, what sort of idea you're trying to draw here. Yeah, so I'm trying to kind of enhance it in some way that it looks better. Whoop. Whoop. You can't do a circle. That should be somewhat decent. It's more of this. There we go. Yeah, I'm not even sure. Okay, that's good. At least I'll be able to fix some points there. So can't even tell, like, okay. I'm trying to. Yeah, so at least, you know, in a structured manner, I have to make something that makes sense when creating this point. But at least that's definitely a lot quicker than my previous stream. Oops. No. Because apparently I did this since the last one. But instead, for the hands, I'll probably won't make something like that unless if it's for the feet. The feet, I actually want it to be solid. This one does not have to be. Yeah, so there's these several different ones. And after how it looks decent, right? It sort of does. And just so I'd be able to fix this, the legs seem okay, sort of. The arm seems okay, but this arm seems a little bit, how do I say, you know, somewhat scrawny. So I'm gonna try to fix that. This, I think, might help out now. There we go. So, it kind of looks better. So, now here's the, like, the dilemma again. I have to make these particular layers, hold on. Alright, so I need to merge these again. Merge. So, from before, we're going to try to fill these up. It looks like. Yeah, so. I actually have a good reason for that. So let's go ahead and actually, this one I don't have to worry as much. Sorry, I don't know what I was thinking, but there's some outlines I had to make sure to draw. Oops. There we go. All right. The legs, I also have to make sure that they're, because they are supposed to be up front. Like there's no like overlay. Or maybe I could see how it would work if I just did like this instead. I'm just trying it. I mean, the theming part of that seems to make most sense. So let's go ahead and see if that works. Then after that, all right, so yeah, so this one's gonna be like, this is gonna be similar to, I'm just going to revise this since I didn't show you previously. And hopefully that the recording session's actually working. Good. Alright, so I'll get to that later. We're going to make the next set. This one I sort of kind of left it somewhat, but instead I'm just going to actually add some hair on him, like on his top of his head. That kind of represents sort of, I don't know, kind of an idea. But so far, oops. As far as I know, I'm just trying to see what I could do, of what I could have done better. So, I don't know, it's like experimental, but it's hilarious. Yeah, so from this point, it's there we go. Oops. Yeah, so yeah, good enough. And then it's oh, sorry. Yeah, like I'm trying to do some fixes, but it looks like there's really nothing else I can do with it. But there might be in the future. I guess it depends of how much of feedback I'll be able to get. Ah. See? When you needed it. Oops. Oops. So, as I said before, like, this is just sort of like an experimental thing. Like, I'm trying to see what kind of idea I want these characters to somewhat look like. And to be honest, they kind of look similar to what I was originally going to be drawing for their other avatar. But I decided, well, not I decided, it's like the audience says, try and make it simpler. Like, not simple as in, like, you know, don't try to push yourself too much, when it comes to drawing. Like, as far as I know, just focus on the things that you're capable of being able to produce, like, within a short amount of time. So that made me realize a few things. Yeah, after realizing, like, the hand must be larger. Or the hand has to be a little bit larger. So, let's see. Let's see how it looks. I mean, it doesn't look too bad. And that's like at some points, like you just want to still have them feel more like aura. After realizing this, I should have done this as well. Hold up. Now, I'm almost finished. I just have to make this head, which is now a separate layer. Oh, come on. Yeah, I might have to revise this. Like, so it kind of fits. Alright, so as I said, this is just something now like I'm gonna currently add. And this might be a shorter stream, possibly. Because I need a lot to work with in the editing process. There we go. Yeah, if you look now, it looks so much better. I don't know, it just looks much better. Like, at least this character. This one, I'm still sort of, should I do something? But to be honest, I think I might be able to somehow do a little change on this. Hold up. Sorry, I have to double check. Okay, well, that's not a huge deal. They're just switched. Well, yeah, I have to at least differentiate different ones. So this one doesn't do anything. So let's bring, yeah, let's look at here. So this one, I just had to do a few changes. I have to somewhat kind of show that it's somewhat a hairline. Yeah, so I mean, there is fine. It's just that's kind of a huge bang like of the hair. So it's this part I'm trying to see if I could have its own stroke. So because I want this to be like a single entity of itself. Now, trying to clean this up a little. At least for this character thing, at least it somewhat has to be fluent. Yeah, so and jeez. Alright. Trying to do some changes. Okay. Close enough, right? Sure. Now, as I said from before, this is going to be one of those times where I have to make sure they're close of how, the original, well, not the original, but like there's some references I might have to change. Because the eyes that she has is what I'm aiming for. So I might have to delete this layer, and the one that's here, I'll have to make a duplicate. Was it 64 copy? Okay, so transform, flip horizontal. The expressions from these are going to be somewhat altered a little bit. All right, you'll see what I mean. All right, so when you see this, you want this to be as adjacent. let's try to erase this now. Yep, so, and what I mean by like editing, I'm just trying to figure out the best methods of when it comes to editing and just kind of focus on just kind of like the idea that it's sort of like a two-parter. When it comes to this hair, this is not like an official thing. I'm just using it as a reference. So, and I don't want things to be too complicated because I'm going to do my own things for most of it, including the mouth and the eyebrows. And if you're wondering, this is a reference because they have to somewhat be close. Close enough. I mean, at least as close as I can. I mean, I can alter some parts that could flow better. There we go. So, there's that one. Yeah, so I'm just trying to somewhat do something with it. But it looks like I'm having a hard time drawing the eye. Oops. At least this eye. Because, okay, this one seems at least the best type of position. I just need to alter some things. Because I'm a cartoonist, or most people just say, oh, I'm a designer. Or, well, not a graphic designer, but I'm definitely one of those storyboard artists, cartoonists, illustrators, and so on. So, I think from this point, I could just draw whatever I can. Trying to see how eyes like these worked in this reality from before. Like, what are you doing? Yeah, so I'm trying to clean up a little bit on here. Oops. Oh. Where am I? I was erasing this. It's like I'm trying to figure out which one it is. Is it just 65? Okay. I don't know. Like it's. I mean, like at least that eye looks better. I think it's the landscape on this eye, or not the landscape, but the scale of it doesn't look as what I wanted. So I mean, I like the layout at least. I just gotta do some few changes. Alright, so I think I'm officially done. Once I'd be able to apply, the remaining. I just have to erase the bottom. Come on. There we go. And plus. Okay. At least that one's. What did I do for the. Okay. I mean, at least this one sort of looks much, much better. I'm sorry I had to emphasize that enough. But this is a much better presentation than what I've done for the other. So I will post this as a two-parter that's going to probably be earlier. So this might be on over the weekend. I would upload this. And then there's going to be the other part where on the next stream. Yeah, so like technically this is part of work in progress. Like I have to do this anyways. But I want to include this to be part of something that can be considered as also Ske-Doodles. So, and I think I hit the hour mark, I think. At least past the hour mark. And plus, there's no footage cut to pieces. So I can actually put this in on Twitch. But instead I'll be titling it Ske-Doodles / work in progress. Episode, well, not episode, but I'll probably just say, how do I say it? Probably say, because in this part of the section, it would be work in progress, Ske-Doodles Mixup 1. So that's what's going to be called, or 1 question mark, because there might be possible things that, if I have these type of situations where I'll probably decide, I'll probably end up doing this. So bottom line, there's nothing too much to add more to. Yeah, try to expect it maybe around Saturday. I might work on it tomorrow to be finished, because at least it would be scheduled to be on Saturday. Because I have to do the rest of the assignments over the weekend. Overall, I'm trying to think of what else to say. Because I pretty much covered everything that I've come to aim for. I'm actually satisfied now more on this. And if you're wondering, I have now the character Sora from figurine. So I'm going to show you a clip as an example of how I would edit. There it is. Yeah. Well, let's just now push that to the side. Alright, so as far as I know, that's pretty much it. Like, I just try to make sure that once I edit them all together, like pretty much the first half of the footage, I might just end up choosing just one of them to be a speed draw, and then kind of fade in. Because like from the previous text, I actually was able to edit it in a particular way, so I'll be able to explain that, anyways. So when you see some parts of the footage, I'm going to consider it as just a speed run. So basically, the overall message from earlier of the, the first half of the stream, it's just to let you know that these are just revisions and just recording issues. So hopefully you enjoyed like the concept overall. I certainly thought it was satisfactory. So thank you everyone to be able to take the time and some patience to be able to know, like, since there's no video on Wednesday, so hopefully on a Saturday I'll be able to upload it officially, because there's going to be several editing process. Well, not editing process, it's just editing overall. Like, I might have to do it right after my presentation, like for it's sort of like this, for instance, and several others. And it doesn't really take too long. It's just, I mean, it was sort of does, but like as long as I'll be able to have that persistent consistency with at least the face part, not like the body. These are just like stills. So as I said, hopefully that after all of that, this is Arc Messenger. Hopefully you live decent lives overall, and stay tuned.